Hi guys, welcome to the second video of the advanced data structure, that is skip list. In the previous video, we learned that why do we need a skip list? What is a skip list? Then we saw that which kind of skip list do we call as a perfect skip list. But then we realized that a perfect skip list is not possible always in an ideal world. So we shifted towards randomized skip list. In the randomized skip list, we saw different operations like insert, search and delete. And that is when we touched upon the probabilistic nature of a skip list. Because we saw that when we insert any particular node in a skip list, we have to decide that should we promote this node to the top level or the next level or not. And we decided that by tossing a coin. If we got a head, we would promote that node to the next level, and we kept on doing it until we got a tail. So whenever we got a tail, we stopped promoting that newly inserted node and our insertion was complete. So if you have not watched the previous video of skip list, please go and watch it. I'll provide the link to that video in the side button. So at the end of the previous video, we were left with 3 questions. And in this video, we will try to analyze and solve these 3 questions using proof. Okay? So what were these 3 questions? The first one was that, can we say that the number of expected levels in a randomized skip list will be order of log n with high probability? So in the previous video we saw that when we were inserting a particular node in a randomized skip list, we were also tossing a coin at each and every level. And suppose if we got infinite number of heads, so what would happen in that case? So in that case, we will keep on promoting the newly inserted node to the next level, next level, next level. In this way, we will promote it infinite number of times. And because of that, we can have infinite number of levels in our skip list. But here we will try to prove that the expected number of levels in a randomized skip list will be order of log n, but with a condition, that is with high probability. So we will try to prove this, that the expected number of levels in a randomized skip list with n elements is actually order of log n rather than being infinite, and this holds with high probability. So we will do this analysis, and the next thing that we are going to see is the space complexity of our skip list. So we started learning skip list because we were able to search in a sorted linked list in order of n time. But in case of a skip list, we saw that we can perform the same search operation in order of log n time, right? But there is a trade-off. In linked list, we are not required to provide some extra space in order to maintain the data structure, rather than storing only those elements that are present in the linked list. But what about skip list? Do we require some extra space? Out of whatever I have learned until now, I can say yes, extra space is required in a skip list because we are having multiple levels in which the same nodes are repeated. But the question is, how much extra space is required? Or what is the space complexity of our skip list? Right? So we will also try to find out the space complexity. And then, so when you look at a randomized skip list, you will see that it doesn't have a very pretty structure. That means as probability is involved, so its structure can actually differ, because sometimes a particular node can be promoted up till 20 levels, while another node that we are inserting can just be promoted up till 3 levels, right? So we don't have a very organized structure. So in such a scenario, if we are trying to search for any element in a randomized skip list, what are the expected number of steps that are required, or what is the cost of that search operation, right? So we will try to find out this as well using a proof. So we are going to look at these 3 things in this video in detail in order to better analyze this data structure, that is skip list. So now let us start. So we learned while doing insertion in a randomized skip list that we have to make a decision that do we promote this newly inserted node to the next top level, or we stop our insertion, or we don't promote. So we do that, as we saw in the previous video, by tossing a coin, and whenever we get a head, we promote that node to the next level, and when we get a tail, we don't promote that node to the next level. And what if we get infinite number of heads, right? If suppose we are getting continuously infinite number of heads, so there might be a possibility that we are getting infinite number of levels, even if it is with just a single node, right? If there is just a single node on infinite number of levels in a randomized skip list, that is also possible if we get continuously infinite number of heads with no tail in between. So there might be such a possibility. And in that case, the number of levels in a randomized skip list can go up to infinity, right? But the warm-up lemma over here tells us that the number of levels in an n element skip list is order of log n with high probability. So that is what the warm-up lemma tells us in spite of such a situation that might arise. So the probability of such a situation arising that we are getting infinite number of heads continuously without getting a single tail, the probability of such a situation arising is almost impossible. It can arise with a very less probability, right? So now let us prove this warm-up lemma that the number of levels in an n element skip list is order of log n with high probability. So now let us focus at the ith levels. Okay. Suppose there is an ith level in our skip list, and we can consider that this ith level is the highest level of our skip list. Okay. So even if there is just one node at this ith level, which is also the highest level of our skip list, if there is just one node there, and let us call that node as x. Okay. So if this x node has to reach up till the ith level, so what should happen? In that case, when we were trying to insert this node x, what should happen is that we should get I number of heads, right? We should get I heads. Okay. So for this to happen, we should get I heads. Okay. So what is the probability of continuously getting I heads? So what is the probability of getting head for the first time in order to reach from the first level to the second level? So the probability of that is 1/2, that we will get a head for the first time. But we want to get continuous I heads, right? We want such heads we have to get them I number of times, so that this node x is on the ith level, which is also the highest level of our skip list. So we want this to happen for I times, right? So this thing will be 1/2 raised to I, right? Because we should get continuous I heads, and the probability of getting one head is 1/2 or half, right? So we can say that the probability of at least one element on ith level. So when will this happen, that there will be one element on the ith level? When there will be at least one element which on insertion gets continuous I heads, right? After that it might get a tail, that is not an issue, but it should get continuous I number of heads so that it can reach up till the ith level, right? So we will call this probability of at least one element on the ith level, or one element getting continuous I number of heads, as Pi. Okay. And now if you look at it, it can happen that we want at least one element on the ith level, right? So we saw that this probability will be 1 by 2 raised to I. Okay. But if you look at it very clearly, you have got n elements in your skip list, and each of these elements would have been inserted at some point of time, right? So any one of these n elements can actually reach up till the ith level by following such a condition that they will get I heads on insertion. So any one of these n elements can actually reach up till the ith level. It necessarily doesn't have to be just one element, because here we are looking at a skip list with n elements, right? So we can say that this probability of I is less than or equal to n by 2 raised to I, right? Because any one of these n elements can actually lead to such a condition where we will get one element on the ith level, at least. Remember this word, at least. Okay, so this probability is less than or equal to n by 2 raised to I. Now suppose I substitute my I with C log n. Okay, what is my C? C is a constant, and I substitute I with C log n, right? So in place of I can write C log n. According to logarithmic property, this 2 raised to C log n, or the denominator of the RHS, will become n raised to C. Okay, and so this will become n by n raised to C. Okay, because here we have got base 2. Okay, so this will finally become 1 by n raised to C minus 1, right? So the probability of I is less than 1 by n raised to C minus 1. So here when we substituted I with C log n, we can also say that the probability of C log n less than or equal to, it is less than or equal to 1 by n raised to C minus 1. Okay, so what does this mean, or what does this imply? This implies that the probability of at least one node to be on this level, that is C log n, is less than or equal to 1 by n raised to C minus 1. So this implies that suppose this is our C log n level, right? This is our C log n level in the skip list, and we have got many levels below. We also have got our 0th level. Okay, so the probability of at least one node to be on this level is actually less than or equal to this value, right? So the probability is very less of such a thing happening, that at least one node will be over here. So there is a higher probability that there will not be any node over here, right? There will not be any node over here. That means this level will not exist, or the C log n level will not exist. And in that case, all the levels below it might exist, but none of the levels above it will exist. That means the height of our skip list will be less than C log n with a high probability, because the height of our skip list to be greater than or equal to C log n, the probability of that happening is as less as 1 by n raised to C minus 1. So hence we can prove that the number of levels in an n element skip list is order of log n, but with high probability. Right? So now we proved that even if such a condition exists, that we might get infinite number of heads, the probability of such a thing happening is extremely less, and there is a high probability that the number of levels in an n element skip list will be order of log n, because for at least one element to be on the C log n level, the probability of that happening is actually very less, right? So that means we will just have levels that are smaller than the C log n level. We will not have the C log n level or any level that is greater than the C log n level, right? So if you have got even the slightest confusion on any of the steps that I did while proving this, I request you to watch this thing again, and in that case, I'm sure if you analyze each and every step properly, you will understand that how we proved the warm-up lemma, right? So now let us analyze the space complexity of a skip list. So now let us look at the space complexity in a skip list. So just now we saw that in an n element skip list, number of expected nodes at ith level were actually equal to n by 2 raised to I. Okay. So now if we want to find out the number of expected nodes in the entire skip list, right? So that means we need to find out the number of expected nodes or the total number of expected nodes at each and every level. We need to do a summation of the number of expected nodes at the first level plus the number of expected nodes at the second level. So that is how we will get the number of expected nodes in S. And over here, S is our skip list. Okay. So this thing will actually be a summation. So we will do a summation of the number of expected nodes at each and every level. And this will be a summation from I is equal to 0 to. So if the number of levels in the skip list is H, so it will be from I is equal to 0 to H. Right? So let us solve this. Over here, we will take the n outside. Okay. So this is equal to, this will be equal to 1 by 2 raised to h plus 1 minus 1 divided by 1 by 2 minus 1, right? And again, this is multiplied by n, right? So in the denominator over here, we will get a minus half, right? In the denominator, we are getting a minus half. And what we will do over here is that we will multiply the entire numerator with minus 1. So we can write it over here in this way, 1 minus 1 by 2 raised to h plus 1, right? And minus 1. And again we have got an n over here, right? So this thing, what we can do over here is that we can actually cut these two minus 1s and we can bring this 2 from here to the numerator, right? We can bring this 2 over here, okay? And this minus 1 is also cut. Okay. So if you look at this value over here is actually less than 1. This value in the bracket, right? So that means this entire value is actually less than 2, right? And we have also got an n over here. We cannot forget that. So that means the number of expected nodes in the entire skip list is actually of the order of n, right? So we have found out that the number of expected nodes in our skip list is actually of the order of n, right? So the space complexity of our skip list is actually of the order of n, right? So now let us look at the third question, that what will be the expected number of steps when we do a search operation, or what will be the cost of the search operation in a randomized skip list. So now we will try to calculate the expected number of steps in a search operation in a skip list, or you can say a randomized skip list like this one. So how do we do the search operation? So suppose if we want to search for the node 17, we actually start from here at the topmost level and we look at the next node. So it is less, so we can go to the right. So we start from here and we go to the right, and again we look at the next node. It is actually greater than 17, so we come down. So we look at the next node, it is less than 17, so we come over here. We look at the next node, it is greater than 17, so we come down. And we look at the next node, it is 17, so here our search stops. So if you look at it, in a search operation, we are actually moving in two directions, either in right direction or down, correct? We are just moving in these two directions. We are never moving left or up in a search operation. But when we try to find out the time complexity for this search operation, we will move in the opposite direction, or we will move in two kind of directions, that is left and up, right? We will not move in this directions, we will just move in these directions, that is left and up. Now you might argue that we are actually not having a doubly linked list, so how we can move in the left direction? So we are just actually trying to analyze, we are not really moving in the left direction, we are just trying to do an analysis. So this kind of analysis, that what I am going to show over here, will be known as a reverse analysis. Okay, so let's try to do this reverse analysis. So suppose we are somewhere over here at this node 12. Okay, so how do you think in the search operation we would have reached at this node? So for reaching at this node 12, of course we would have come from the up, not from the left. Why? Because this node is also promoted up, right? And even if you see in the search operation, we came from up, right? So we can do in our reverse analysis one up. And why we are saying this? Because we can see that this node 12 is also there on the next level, right? That is why we are saying a up. If suppose there was no 12 over here, then there was no chance of we coming from up in a search operation. We would have come from the left hand side, right? But in this case, we are coming from up. Now, so we came over here up, okay, at this 12. Now, from where do you think we must have reached at this 12? So there is only one possibility, that we could have reached at this 12 from the left. Why? Because there is no node over here. Why? Because this node 12 is not promoted at this level, right? So it all boils down to the question, that is the node that your pointer is currently at, is it promoted to the next level? If it is promoted to the next level, then we will go to that level in our reverse analysis. If it is not promoted to the next level, like in this case, we will be going at the same level but in the left direction in our reverse analysis, right? So if we want to find out the cost Cj of our skip list, which is having, we can say, j levels, right? We can assume that the skip list is having j levels, like suppose this is the jth level, okay, starting from first level. So if we want to find out the expected number of nodes in jth level skip list, right? Or we can say we need to find out, so what are the expected number of nodes in the jth level skip list? That also actually means the cost of the search operation. In the worst case, the cost of the search operation will be equal to the total number of expected nodes in our skip list. So we can also write this thing as Cj. Okay. So suppose we start from the rightmost and the bottommost node, right? We start from this node. So we will count this node in our expected number of nodes. That is why I'm doing 1 plus. And now I have got two kind of operations that I can do. I can either move to the left or I can move up, like how I do in my reverse analysis, right? And the probability of each of this operation is half, right? Because the probability of a node being promoted to the next level during insertion is half, right? So this probability will be half. So there is a half probability that I'll be moving to the up node, right? Up node. Plus there is a half probability that I'll remain at the same level, right? So this thing actually determines the probability that you have reached on previous level, while this thing is for same level, right? That you will remain at the same level, right? So these are the two probabilities. So now if you actually simplify this expression, you will get Cj is equal to 2 plus Cj minus 1, right? So now again you can write this in a recursive manner, and this will be 2, and this Cj minus 1 we can write as 2 plus Cj minus 2, right? So we can keep on writing this in a recursive manner, 2 plus this Cj minus 2 can be written as 2 plus Cj minus 3, right? So in this way it can go on, and we have seen in one of our previous proofs in this video that this will actually go on up till log n. Why? Because the expected number of levels in a randomized skip list is of the order of log n, right? So this can go on up till log n. So we will have these number of summations of 2's, and that will be log n times, right? This will be log n times. So this Cj, or the cost of the search operation in a skip list, will be 2 log n, right? Or you can also call it as order of log n. So the expected number of steps that have to be traversed in a search operation in a randomized skip list will be order of log n, or to be precise, 2 log n, right? So this actually determines the cost of the search operation in a randomized skip list using reverse analysis. So we have learned so many things in the previous video and this video about skip list. So in this video we saw that the expected number of levels in a randomized skip list is actually order of log n with high probability. We also looked at the space complexity of a skip list and we derived it to be order of n, whereas the expected number of steps that have to be traversed in a search operation in a skip list is order of log n. So after learning all this and doing a very in-depth analysis of this data structure, skip list, so after we have learned all this about skip list, now I have got just 2 questions for you. The first question is very simple, that why do you think a skip list is called as a skip list? And the second question is that why do you think that these nodes minus infinity and infinity, which you can also call as your head nodes, right? And these are your tail nodes. Why do you think these nodes, that is head nodes and tail nodes, are actually promoted at each and every level? Why don't we just remove these nodes? What is the use of these head nodes and tail nodes? So you can answer these 2 questions in the comment section. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and share this with all your friends. Meet you in the next video where we will start a new advanced data structure.